So my main topic in my research question is how Middle Eastern countries, focusing on Egypt, Lebanon, and Syria, are finding solutions for its over-reliance on wheat imports from Russia and Ukraine, and how geopolitics and globalization has affected these countries. So globalization plays a key role into this. I just want to take a minute and define what globalization is. So it's the process by which businesses or other organizations develop international influence or start operating on an international scale. This ideal became really popular after the 1990s with the end of the Cold War, and many countries began to realize with the new advancements like technology such as the internet, supply chains, shipping, that sometimes it's cheaper to import products and goods rather than producing it into your own country. So where does food come into all of this? So geography actually plays a big crucial part into agriculture. So not all food can be grown in the same place, and each type of crop requires different temperatures, humidity, and different climate variables for it to be successful and to grow properly. And some countries have a comparative advantage for growing a specific type of crop over other countries, meaning that they can produce more high-yielding crops at a cheaper cost. So diving into this map, we can see that Russia and Ukraine are one of the top 5 exporters of wheat across the globe, and we can expect this, and this makes sense based on the geographical location. Both countries have very fertile soil, meaning they can get high-yielding crops out of it, and they both have large land areas, giving them room for more agricultural land to produce crops from. And looking at the country focusing on, Egypt and Lebanon, they're one of the top importers of Ukrainian food products, and this is because based on the geographical location, it makes sense in their mind to get food at a cheaper rate rather than producing it in their own country to feed its people. And then this over-reliance on cheap wheat actually came at a detriment to many of these countries that they didn't expect this to happen. February 24th, 2022, Russia started its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and many of the global food supply chains had been disrupted from this global event. As you can see behind this is destroyed apartment buildings, destroyed houses, and many of the food supply chains in Ukraine are also been destroyed, and many of the infrastructure has. So 30% of crops in Ukraine will go unharvested, and many farmers have lost $1.4 billion since the start of this war. So this has been affecting the Ukrainian economy, but has also affected a lot of the countries that are reliant on Ukrainian wheat to help feed its people. And then this leads to the first Middle Eastern country we are talking about, Egypt. And Egypt is getting affected. They're one of the largest wheat buyers in the world. And this has caused Egypt to have increasing food insecurity, and it's affecting its economy. Egyptians consume double the average bread intake based on their culture, so with wheat prices going up, bread has become really expensive in Egypt. And this has led to a lot of panic buying in Egypt because people are afraid that they'll not be able to feed their families. So the government has to find a quick problem on how to solve it. This is leading to Egypt making new investments into advanced technologies such as data analysis and AI to help optimize its agricultural production. And the new country's goal is to be self-sufficient and to be food secure by 2030. Due to this, the Fidan project was created to help increase agricultural land by 20%. And this is significant because maybe I feel like countries have started to realize that globalization is not the answer to every single supply chain. And Egypt is starting to learn that they need to start producing agricultural products in their country to help feed its growing population and to help ensure that their economy is not suffered, people are not going hungry, and maybe nationalistic ideals are coming back. Transitioning to Lebanon, we can see that the geography is a lot of mountainous ranges, which makes it harder for them to grow half farms and grow wheat. So 90% of Lebanon's wheat and cooking oil comes from Russia and Ukraine. And then this has caused food prices to increase by 1,000%. And Lebanon is trying to find alternative countries to import trade from, but the government is nearly bankrupt, which makes it harder for them to make major investments in that. Syria is in a unique situation based on the sanctions placed upon it around the world. This means that Syria has a limited amount of trade partners it could deal with. So it's meaning that they have to import a lot of their wheat from Russia, and Russia is jacking up the prices because they can, and Syria has no other option to go to. So this has increased food prices in Syria by 86%. And Syria is investing in its own infrastructure to help solve its issue, but it's going to be multiple years before the projects are done. So sadly, yes, Russia is benefiting from a lack of Ukrainian wheat by price gouging countries like Syria and making more of a profit off of that, while China is also benefiting because of the world's largest reserve of the grain in the world with 51%, and this leads to China selling its reserves at a higher price, which making more of a profit as well from the situation. So in conclusion, the Russia-Ukrainian war has established that so global supply chains can be easily broken. Countries, specifically the ones that are more reliant on food imports, have taken note and are now investing within their borders. Self-sufficiency in agriculture and energy are now seen to be essential in ensuring security, and many countries are scrambling to help solve their food insecurity crisis, while major powers like Russia, China, and the United States are benefiting from this chaos.